Is the project I am sharing with you today. Hip hip hooray. These are the Hippest hippos. I'm just so happy for you. I think it would put a smile on lots of people's faces regardless of what the news is that you're happy about. It's a very clean and simple card. It's an Anna Marie design. Thank you. And this little hippo is just too cute. I'm going to put that there as a reference, and I'm going to share with you what I'm using. Oh dear, we've already got someone at the door. Here is the stamp set that we're using, the Hippest hippos. Look at that hippo and all those different little stances. There's ballerina hippo, just the little walking hippo, and that little sweet love you a ton hippo holding that flower. And we've got 4 sentiments going on included in this set. So you're always on point, you're so hip, and you really are the best, plus love you a ton. So this little stamp set would stand alone. You could make lots of projects with just the stamp sets, but what really puts it over is the die set. These are stinking cute. So not only do you get the outline dies to cut the little hippos out, for those of you who don't like fussy cutting, look at all the accessories. You've got some waves, you've got the little snorkel gear, some hearts, some stars, some flowers, the life, what do you call the floaty, the sun umbrella, a little party hat, some grass, water splashes, sunglasses, goggles, a boat. Oh my gosh, the tub, the little flowers, everything is absolutely adorable. Like I said, you could manage with just the stamp set, but it is the accessories that just push it over the top and make it really, really cute. So in my card, you will notice I've got a couple other elements going on. Otherwise, it's a pretty simple Anna Marie card. I am using the layering diorama dies for that little background, that little background that the Hooray is standing on or laying on. Hello, Debbie, welcome in. So the layering dioramas are like staples in your toolkit. You've got all the sizes. Looks like there's about 7 sizes, and these do not coordinate with any particular stamp set, but they go with a lot of projects, so they're great dies to have. Layering dioramas. So that's another die that I'm using. And I am using my 2224 in color designer series paper. You can see I've just got a few little snips. I've pulled the starry sky color. I've also made some using the orchid oasis. So this design would go with any color that you'd like. All right, so let's get started. Oh, one more thing, that giant Hooray, don't you love it? So the hip hip comes from the stamp set, You're So Hip, but the little Hooray, or the huge Hooray, comes from Big Hooray stamp set. So there's a big Hooray, day, feels, hugs, thanks, hey there, the little beam and the little confetti. This is a great set to have for celebrations, for just perking people up, and making them have a great day, right? Who wouldn't want to get this card? All right, so some of the things I have pre-cut and pre-done so that you're not here till after school. I don't want to keep you long. My card base is just the basic white. It's the card size 5.5 by 8.5, folded down at 4 1/4. I've got too many things going on. Here's where I run into trouble and start losing things. And usually I have my little setup going on. There we go. I'm searching for my bone folder, my trusty bone folder that gives me that nice crisp fold. And so remember, the Hippest Hippos is a celebration gift that you can get for a $50 order. Then if you want the dies, that's for another $50 level. So for both, you can get both for a $100 order. You could get them separate, you could get them combined. If you're okay with fussy cutting the outline of the hippos and not having the little accessories, you're gonna do well with it. All right, I'm also using an 1" by 5 inches of the DSP. I'm using 3 of the patterns, and you could use any pattern you like. You're using the cute little floral pattern. I've got my layering diorama cut, and I need a strip of basic white. It's about 2 inches wide. I'm going to be stamping on this and snipping. And then I'm going to need some of the cute little flowers that come from the die set. Aren't these funky flowers? To me, they're kind of like 60s retro flowers. I love them. These are in Orchid Oasis, but again, you could do them in almost any color to make it fun. So I'm going to help myself out here. I'm going to secure the designer series paper onto my card front, my card base, before I lose them, right? And I'm adding just a little bit of Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue. It's my favorite. And I'm kind of aligning the strips like a little ray. So kind of angled down. There's no precision here because that's just my style. I'm not obsessive about it. And then I'm going to kind of fan this out a little bit. And so there's going to be a little bit of space between the bottom one and the middle one. And then I've got one more going on here. And I just realized I don't think I pulled my stamp set for that inside greeting, which is a wonderful stamp set to have as well. I'll share with you that stamp set when I get to that point. All right, so I've got my card foundation going on. I'm going to set that aside and do a little bit of stamping. I am going to stamp the words hip hip onto my layering diorama die cut, and I'm going to stamp in Starry Sky. That's an in color. And what I'm doing, I'm taking this stamp that says "You're so hip," and I'm just going to ink up the hip. Now, you could just stamp the hip on there, or let me grab something. Sometimes it's easier to get your Stampin' marker, and these are sold in the in color sets. I still love to get the markers as opposed to the blends because they serve different purposes. These are great for direct to rubber. I'm just gonna ink up the hip, and then I'm going to ink down around there. See how I just got the hip? And I think I did a pretty good job there. And I'm getting a lot of shadow, right? Sorry about that. And I'm going to do a second inking because it says hip hip hooray. So this is a great celebration card or congratulations card. There we go. So I've got my hip hip going on. I'm going to put that aside. Then I better close up my ink as well. And let me close up my marker. If you haven't noticed, I am the messiest crafter, I think. All right, then I am looking for my foam mat because I'm going to ink up that Hooray that comes from Big Hooray. And this is a huge stamp. This is the I block. You can see how big it is. And I'm going to flip that over and ink up this direction. Much easier than flipping it onto the ink pad. And I'm just ensuring that I have it all inked up nicely. And I'm going to press that down firmly onto my basic white and get a generous amount of pressure on there. And there we go. We've got our Hooray. It's coming along. And then I need to stamp my hippo, that dancing hippo. She's so sweet with her little tutu on. And I am inking up in Memento Black. And let's see, just gonna ink that on my basic white. There we go. Let me cover that up before I get messy here. And sorry for reaching across there. All kinds of things on my tabletop. Alrighty, so then and let me close up this ink pad. I'm just trying to keep myself out of trouble with all this stuff that's on my tabletop. Alright, so I am going to color, and you have options. This card I colored with my Stampin' Blends. You could use watercolor pencils as well. And I did the little hippo, and I'm going to snip this off just a tad. And I'll put my Hooray up there. And I don't need my foam mat anymore. Alright, so then I used, trying to remember how I did this, I used my crumb cake, and I'm using the pen tip, and my crumb cakes are pretty much dry on the brush side because light crumb cake is apparently a color that I use frequently, and so I've got several light crumb cakes hanging about. Most of them I have to color using the pen tip because the brush tends to dry out sooner. Now, I say I have lots. Don't be alarmed. My tools, blends, all of my things get used and abused because I have classes here and I have club here, and I share with my crafters, and so they get used quite a bit, which is good because that's what it's for, right? Okay, so I have colored in my little hippo, his little snout and his little belly in crumb cake. Then I'm going to bring in my light soft suede, and I think I can try and color. This is going to be a little bit darker tone. I'm using the brush tip here. It goes just a little bit faster because I don't have to get such small sections. Now she's got little ballet shoes on, her cute little slippers. I am going to save those to color in the Starry Sky color, and I'm coloring her body, whoops, in the darker tone. I said whoops because I kind of went outside the line, and it might matter. So what I'm going to do, as soon as I finish this up here, I'm going to grab my color lifter, because that little white, you'd think it was white, right? But it's not. It lifts the color. So if you went outside the line and you want to clean it up, you just need your lifter, and it does a pretty good job of taking away the color. And sometimes you have to do it in steps, but as I say, it does a pretty good job. So if you're trying to be really careful and stay within the lines and you accidentally go outside, no worries. Now I'm going to take my light Starry Sky and color her slippers and her tutu. She is just so cute. How many of you have had a look at that SALE-a-Bration catalog? I know it just went live today, but it has been floating around. Demonstrators have had it for about a month now, and if you happen to fall by other demonstrators' websites, they could have shown you projects that were created with these new products. We can't show the product just on its own, but we can show our projects. Yes, so Debbie's seen it. Debbie, do you have a favorite in that SALE-a-Bration catalog? So Debbie happens to be on my team. As I said earlier, I did a little poll because I wanted to know what the $50 level gift was that everyone liked, and hands down it was the Hippest Hippos. And then I also asked for the $100 item. All right, so now I'm going to do, the snout is not quite the color that I like. I like it, but I want to add a little bit more color. See, Debbie concurs. She says the hippos, of course. So I'm just saying, if you're not a demonstrator and you are about to place an order, if you even think that you are going to want these hippos, you grab them now, because I have no inside track on how many Stampin' Up ordered, but you know, things run out. And you do not want to be caught without this cute little set, kicking yourself and not heeding my warning. And did I mention what I'm doing here? So do you see the difference here in the skin tone, in the coat tone of this hippo? I am using the 900 skin tone blend to add a little color. So Barbara says she already has everything from the catalog. Yeah, you and I, Barb, we're two peas in a pod, right? Because that's the reason that we buy the starter kit, is because we want it all. And it's actually the best move to make if you do. I mean, you don't have to literally get it all, but when you are a crafter and you like to have your supplies and your tools at the ready for when you get a few minutes to craft, you want your stuff, right? And so being a demonstrator, you can pre-order, you get your discount on everything, you get the perks that the customers get, you get good stuff. So now I'm going to do the hippo's nails in dark crumb cake, so just a slight variation here, it's no big deal. And I need to run and get my lifter. Give me a sec. So this color lifter, yes, plus doubles, Pam says. Now, why would you want doubles? I'll tell you why. Because a lot of the freebies are paper, and you can always use paper, right? Here we go. I'm just gonna take my lifter and go over right that little spot where I went outside the line. And if it doesn't lift on the first try, do it again and the color will come off. So there we go. So you might want doubles as well. I always do. I always accumulate doubles also. Extra paper is good, but sometimes the stamp sets are good, because I'm going to share something with you. That cute little, do you recall the Hello My Friend card, my kite card that I shared with you? And there's this cute little sentiment in here. It says, "It's a good day." Oh, my heart sank when I opened up that set, because that little stamp is not in the case. The bigger stamps are, but that little tiny stamp obviously attached itself to something, and now I am minus one stamp in that set. And so when you have extras, it's a good thing. Things like that happen. We don't want it to, but sometimes it does. Now, let me continue on. I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to fussy cut. No, I don't need to fussy cut, because I have the little dies that are going to cut that little hippo for me in a couple of cranks. I am, however, going to have to fussy cut the Hooray, but I'm not going to bore you with watching me fussy cut. I pre-did mine, so that's ready to go. I am going to get my mini. You know, I love my mini. I love having it at the ready, right on the desktop. And I will say that if you have been on the fence about the mini, maybe Celebration is the time to get it, because you're going to get your Celebration gifts, and there's more. So not only do we get Celebration gifts, there are also extras that we can pick up. So I'm looking at my Celebration catalog. On the last page, well, there's the join offer, and you get the Making Plans collection, which I had mentioned earlier. So the starter kit's $99, but You can also get this beautiful stamp set called Perfect Pomegranate when you have a $300 order, and it doesn't matter if it is a party order or if it's one big order, or maybe you collected orders from friends. You get that set absolutely free. Also, there's more in the new mini catalog. When you turn to the final pages again, and this is just a lesson, keep turning all the way to the back of the book because there's more. Hosting is rewarding, so there's a special little stamp set that you can get called Caroling Mice. This is only $13 when you have a $150 order. Again, it doesn't need to be a workshop order. It could be your big order, or it could be an accumulation of you and your friend, or you and your mom, whoever it happens to be. You could get the Caroling Mice for only for a $150 workshop, and you pay just $13 of your rewards. Or look at this amazing paper pack. The Celebrate Everything 12 by 12 Designer Series paper pack. It's 48 12 by 12 sheets for only $18, and this is available to you when you have a larger order. And again, doesn't have to be just your order. So if you want to invest in a mini, I think it's $63 now. Now is the time to do it. You're going to get all kinds of rewards every way you turn. So I'm going to sandwich this up, trim away the little hippo, so I get cutting pad on the bottom, platform, cutting pad 2, paper, die, cutting pad 2 again. And I'm just going to crank that through. I love having the mini right within my reach on my desktop. And here we go. There's my cute little hippo. Voila! Didn't have to fussy cut. There's rubbish. There's my die. I'm going to move my mini out of the way. And things are going good so far. I haven't lost anything. Have you noticed that? All right, so let me take a sip of this wonderful rum punch. And you know, I could see myself lounging out by the pool drinking this nice little bevy. I think it could be a new favorite. All right, I'm gonna take some dimensionals and I'm gonna secure that layering diorama. And again, these dies are really useful. They use your imagination. They could be all kinds of things. They coordinate with lots of different stamp sets. Excuse me. I am using 4 dimensionals, standard size, and I'm going to put my layer right almost the center there. And then next I'm going to put the Hooray, and again I'm going to prop that up with mini dimensionals. Hopefully I've got some at the ready here. And I go through a boatload of these dimensionals every week. And so what I've got left, which is just as well, I have all my end pieces, and it's going to work out just fine because you can see these little long ends. Maybe if I do this, you can see better. I have some long skinny portions there that I want to make sure are supported. So I'm going to take the ends and I am going to snip just those long border pieces. And these are going to go on the long stretches of the lettering. And hip hip hooray, I love that. It could even be a birthday card, right? It could be a retirement card, a congratulations card. And just, it is so fun to get cards in the mail. And I must say, I'm still getting birthday cards. Have I said that? I got one this week. I don't have it handy, It was absolutely gorgeous. I received, you know, my birthday was back in May and I'm still getting cards. How fun is that? All right. And I'm just snipping some of these other little pieces of the mini dimensionals. So even the minis you can snip up. And I'm just kind of adding lots of support behind the Hooray. And one more. All right. So then this is going to go on the next layer. Right through here. All these little pieces, and you know what, you could use your take your pick tool to get that off. It might be helpful. This take your pick is one of my essential tools. So if you're new to crafting, and even if you've been crafting for quite some time, there are some tools, just like any trade, that make things easier, that are just wow. I didn't know that they had that. So this take your pick is one of the tools I love. It's got the piercing tool, it's got a little spatula on the other side, it's got a little gum tip that you can pick up small pieces on. You can unscrew that and add a die brush in there. All right, okay, so next I'm going to put my Hooray right in here. And every card comes out just a little bit different depending on how my layout went. And then I'm going to add my little hippo, my dancing hippo, and she goes on with dimensionals as well. And I'm going to put one standard up at the top of her head and then a couple of pieces down below. Gosh, I have lots of scraps left on my dimensionals. Okay, so now she's going to get attached to the Hooray. And you see how she's got her toe on the between the O, and then her other toe's pointing to the hip there. All right, so she's got, and I'm going to put a little glue dot under there. I think I've got one handy. So I'm going to come in. I don't want her toe to get bent. So just coming right in here. There we go. And we're going to add some little embellishments. First of all, she needs a flower in her hair. And we're going to put a little flower over at the hip. And I've used the piercing portion of my tool to remove the backing. I'm going to use my, let's see if I can bring this in. I'm going to use my gum tip, pick up the little flower and add it right where I want it. And the same with the other flower there. Now, we're not finished till we embellish, right? So I'm looking around for my embellishments, and I am going to use my fave, the basic rhinestones. And I'm putting one right in the center flower, and then also the other center there. Let's see. And I want another embellishment. Let's see if I've got it handy. I am loving these fine sparkle adhesive back gems. Like, who and what girl wouldn't love some sparkle? It's called a gem, right? So this comes in pretty colors. It's like a pool party, maybe the Tahitian Tide, pale papaya, calypso coral maybe. It's a really pretty gem. Adds just a nice little contrasted color. I'm only going to use one and put it right over here. So there we go. She's not complete yet. We're going to add our wink of Stella, because this girl's got a tutu on, right? And you know those little tutus sparkle. So I'm just adding some wink right to her little tutu. So even though this card looks pretty simple, there's quite a few steps. It's kind of like getting dressed. It takes a lot of work to look clean and simple, right? There we go. And I am not sure if the camera picks up or a little tutu. How sweet is that? Oh my gosh, these little hippos are just the bomb. Okay, so next, I'm gonna bring back in some stamping. There it is. I am going to use my Good Feelings, I'm So Happy For You stamp. And, Mamma Mia, Anna Marie can create quite a mess crafting. I'm using that nice big stamp, and again, I'm using block I. So these are nice chunky stamps. And I am going to be inking up again in Starry Sky. Oh, there's a little, there we go. And I prefer to flip it. And I'm just looking around to see if I have a tissue or something. I do. Perfect. Because I'll tell you why. You can see I've got a little bit of ink around the edges, and most of the time that's safe. But we don't want to get this far in our project and then have that blue show up as a little ghost on our card. So there we go. This goes on the inside. And I'll see if I can stamp straight. Here's the point where you do not want to muff it up, right? It's almost like the final steps. I'm just so happy for you. I love this sentiment. And I'm going to embellish the inside also with a nice little flower, one of those little funky flowers. And I'm going to bring it right in, let's see, over here by the happy. So I'm going to add my funky flower there. Now, this flower is on the inside. I don't like to put too much lump and bump on the inside. So what I'm going to do instead, for the flower center, I'm going to take my white gel pen, and these Uniball pens are the best, the Signo. Stampin' Up used to sell them, haven't for quite some time, and these just work. So I always like to have one of these handy. It's just a little extra. Look at that. So I wouldn't want to put a rhinestone on the inside, but that way have a flower center. And there we go. Hip hip hooray with the Hippest hippos. They are stinky cute. And you will want to add these to your order during celebration. You want to be creating these cute little cards. And I'm going to say also, I have others to share with you as well. So here is, I'm going to get rid of that open ink pad just a second. Here is another clean and simple card using that little loving hippo with the flower saying hello, hello. And I've used one of the note cards in envelopes. Very fun to work with because it's already cut, it's already scored, it's easy. And you can see I'm using some more of that DSP with the ink colors. And I stamped and cut my hippo. This one I colored with the watercolor pencils. So you don't have to use blends all the time. You can use watercolor pencils as well. And then this has the cute little embellishments, the fun flower embellishments. So there's another card with happy hippos. Now remember I said you could get away without the dies. However, here is an adorable card I cased from another demonstrator using those accessories from the Hippest Hippos die set. Look how cute this came out. We were using all the ink colors. We are using the accessories from the die set. Those little goggles, the splash, the snorkel, sunglasses, an umbrella. And it's just a card to say hello. So really special card. And that was actually a lot more work than my Hip Hooray card. But I loved creating it. I love using all the embellishments that come in the die set. All right, so here's my Hippest Hippo presentation. I also, let's see, I also want to remind you that my greeting subscription is open. And how it works is every month I'm featuring one stamp set bundle and making projects with it. And I'm looking around to see what I've got to share. So this month I am using the Best Butterflies bundle, and we are creating fun folds. So we've got this little side step card, Sending Good Vibes. We have the diagonal easel card, Hey, Sending Good Vibes, using the beautiful kisses, or sorry, the butterfly kisses, the butterfly, or the Best Butterfly bundle. Here's another fun fold, Sending All the Love. You open it up and you can write your note inside. And then the final card in the class for this month, So Glad You're My Bestie, and I'm opening up, and look, out pops Sending All the Love. So this is the July class, or only $39. You're going to get everything you need to create the cards. In addition, you're going to get a full bolt of the, let's see, it is specifically called the Open Weave ribbon in the Fresh Freesia. You're going to get a half pack of the Best Butterflies, or Butterfly Kisses DSP. You will need this to create your cards, but you're going to have some left over. And you're going to get your envelopes as well. You are going to get all of the cardstock, die cuts, pieces that you need to create the cards, and everything is prepped and organized for you. Now, what is not included that you will need to create the cards is the Best Butterflies bundle, and of course you're going to need your ink and adhesives. However, you would want to purchase those to make up the cute cards. This is open until the 20th of July. It should ship by the 28th, I believe, and you're going to get a step-by-step PDF to create the cards. And everything is going to be delivered direct to you via snail mail. So this is the Just Stamp Greetings card kit in the mail. And again, registration's open now. Oh, one other thing you get. And of course you're going to get the full pack. You're going to get a full pack of the fun flower shapes because you need them for all of your projects. So that's what you get. I will put the link to the club registration. You have until the 20th to, actually I think it's till the 10th. It's open until the 10th to RSVP that you would like the kit. It will be shipped and mailed to you around the 20th. So my dates are so wrong. Sorry about that. It's confusing. Anyway, you will want to get in on the Butterfly Fun Fold class. And let's see, I think that's it. If you are planning on purchasing, you want to use the host code. You're going to get your free celebration gifts. You can pick those Hippest Hippos or something else. However, don't delay if you're going to want those hippos. Now, if you have any questions or need any help, you can comment below. This video will be posted over on YouTube, so you can go step by step, and I'll post the necessary links right above here. All right, my friends, have a wonderful star-spangled weekend. I hope you have time to sit down, relax, and grab a little drinky winky and put your feet up. You deserve it, right? Hope you have a nice long weekend. Happy 4th of July, everyone.